All right, thank you very much. For those of you that haven't met me, and I think most of you have because I was at the registration table, my name is Jonathan Nadle. I'm GASP president, and I wanted to welcome everyone here to our 50th birthday party. Thank you. It's good to see a lot of old friends and new friends here as well. So just wanted to do a few brief remarks before dinner. And while I think of it, the logistics of it is our caterer, Divine Delectables. They're going to come table to table and let you know when you can go up to get dinner, which is going to be over there to my left. So we wanted to thank our event sponsors. You can see the full list in your program, but we wanted to especially recognize UPMC, Terra Networks, WESA, Gendoco Construction, the Sixth Presbyterian Church, and Pittsburgh United. We also want to thank our host committee members, City Councilman Corey O'Connor, Councilwoman Anita Prizio, Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, Karen Glotfelty, Mike DeWita, Dr. Cyril Wecht, and Zaheen Hussain. Also our mayor, Bill Peduto, he's supposed to be here a little bit later, wanted to thank him. And also thanks to the GASP board and staff for all their hard work putting this together tonight. To Roger Day and the Deep Breath Trio over to my right, who have been providing music for tonight. Some well-deserved applause for them. And last but certainly not least, we have three special guests. GASP founding members Bernie Bloom and Dr. Cyril Wecht, and also, yes? Yeah, please stand up. And also the daughter of former councilwoman and GASP founder Michelle Madoff, Karen Lynn Madoff. You could stand up also. And just as a reminder, we do have some great gift baskets out in the lobby behind me. You can buy raffle tickets for them out there. There will be someone available to do that. And the program portion of our event will begin probably about 6:45, about half hour from now after we eat dinner. So enjoy your dinner, and again, they'll be coming around to let you know when your table can go up and get dinner. Thank you. Lots of beer as well, I am told to mention. So, all right. So GASP's founding meeting was held on October 20th, 1969 by 43 individuals concerned about Pittsburgh's poor air quality in Michelle Madoff's Squirrel Hill home. So in 8 days, GASP officially turns 50. And it's fair to ask, are we going through a midlife crisis? To answer that, we can take a look at some of the typical signs. Have we bought a fancy new sports car? In our case, an electric one like the Tesla Roadster. We have not. Are we divorcing ourselves from sometimes unsexy but effective environmental advocacy work and things like Title V permit reviews? We are not. So if we are having a midlife crisis, we've kept it to ourselves. For 50 years, we've stayed true to our mission. To be sure, we've adapted and changed to the times and new challenges, and we plan to continue doing so to remain relevant and effective. Both men and women have played important roles in GASP's founding and history, but for our 50th celebration, we decided to focus on women. It is our Mother Earth we are working to protect, after all. And I was looking at our original charter, and of the 5 signatories, 4 were women. Michelle Madoff, our founder and first president, was a woman. We've been fortunate to have a legacy of strong women serving GASP, so a female focus seemed fitting. Speaking of strong women, it's my pleasure to turn the program over to GASP's award-winning executive director, Rachel Filippini.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we celebrate the Group Against Smog and Pollution, which formed, as Jonathan said, on an October night back in 1969. Before there was an Environmental Protection Agency, before the first Earth Day, before the 1970s Clean Air Act. We are forever grateful to GASP's founders, the housewives, doctors, lawyers, engineers, students, and union workers who came together because they firmly believed they had a right to clean air and they were willing to fight for it. They were fed up with the air pollution, and they were frustrated with the fact that they couldn't be part of the political landscape or process. In those days, most agreements for cleaning up the air were gentlemen's agreements. They were behind closed doors, informal, not legally binding. So where was the transparency? Where was the accountability? It wasn't there. GASP pushed our way into meetings and demanded a seat at the decision-making table, work that we still do today. Some of the things that GASP did in the early days may have seemed silly or outlandish, like selling cans of quote-unquote clean air at the local mall, or dressing up as our mascot, Dirty Gertie, the poor polluted birdie. But it worked because it provoked and it intrigued and it got people talking about the real issues. And it got people to come out to meet these GASP volunteers, to learn what exactly we were working on and how they could get more involved. But from the very beginning, GASP knew the publicity stunts alone were not going to get us clean air. To wage a war on air pollution, knowledge was key. One of GASP's founders and longtime board members, Walter Goldberg, once said that there was the recognition that ignoramuses have no place in this pollution fight. Our knowledge about what air pollution control measures could work and what could not needed to match those of the corporate engineers and lawyers that we would be facing over and over again at hearings. Acquiring the technical and legal knowledge was not easy. Our salvation was often found in academia, including graduate students, engineering professors, and lawyers. Sometimes allies were found in the regulators themselves, and help from the United States Steelworkers of America was crucial. In the early days, lawyers took cases for GASP on a contingency basis, while others charged nothing at all. Now, we're lucky enough to have 7 staffers, including 2 excellent lawyers, along with a full-time educator and a full-time communications manager. Since our founding in 1969, we have developed into a strong local voice for the environment. Some of our key accomplishments include successful litigation in federal district court in the 1970s to require Allegheny County to adopt standards based on the Clean Air Act, cooperation with the EPA in the 1980s to gain enforcement of air quality standards at U.S. Steel's coke production facility, joining a successful EPA suit against LTV Corporation in the 1990s, researching and officially commenting on Title V permits, a program of the 1990 Clean Air Act, and more recently examining and reporting on the backlog of Title V permits across Pennsylvania, stimulating an anti-idling ordinance at County Council for heavy-duty diesel vehicles, crafting a draft continuous opacity monitor regulation for Allegheny County, helping to lead the Allegheny County Partnership to reduce diesel pollution, convincing RRI Energy to accept a lower lead emissions limit in their scrubber installation permit, launching the Athletes United for Healthy Air campaign, where we partnered with groups like Venture Outdoors and Bike Pittsburgh to educate thousands of athletes about air quality, and creating the Air Permits Clearinghouse, a one-stop shop on our website for all Title V air quality permits in southwestern Pennsylvania. And the list of accomplishments, projects, and campaigns goes on. Over the last 5 decades, we have reviewed and commented on hundreds of air quality permits, regulations, and policies. We've educated tens of thousands of residents about air quality issues, providing air quality monitors and guidance, and encouraging people to take a stand for clean air. While we know our efforts have made a difference in local air quality, we also know the work is not done. When the Pittsburgh region ranks as one of the top 10 most polluted cities in the nation with regard to fine particulates, and when Allegheny County ranks in the top 2% of counties in the U.S. for cancer risk from air toxics. And when childhood asthma rates in Allegheny County and some schools are double the state average, we know the fight for clean air is far from over. And now, that we're up to speed on GASP's legacy, to help celebrate GASP's 50th anniversary, I would like to invite up Mayor Bill Peduto.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you to not only yourself and your staff, but to the boards and the supporters that are in this room. It's been almost 30 years that I've had the opportunity to work alongside GASP in many different endeavors. And over those 30 years, the methods have never changed. You've had unwavering support of using data, of using logic, of using facts in order to be able to compel changes in government. And it's proven successful at a federal level, at a statewide, countywide, and proudly to say at a city level as well. And as Rachel said, there's much, much more work to be done. And as we look at the past 50 years, we look ahead at the next 50 years, the next 5 years, the next 5 months. Whereas the Group Against Smog and Pollution was established in 1969 by 43 residents who were concerned about Pittsburgh's poor air quality. And whereas GASP has grown and evolved from a volunteer-led group to one that today has 7 paid staff, including 2 attorneys, and a volunteer board who work tirelessly to improve our region's air quality. And whereas GASP has written countless letters to the editor, spoken at dozens of public hearings, served on numerous regional committees and boards, testified for bills, and helped set legal precedents that have had state and national impact, such as the PA diesel idling law and federal coke oven regulations. And whereas GASP has reviewed and commented on hundreds of air quality permits, regulations, and policies, and educated tens of thousands of residents about air quality issues, and whereas GASP operates with scientific integrity, honesty, and fairness in the service of improving the air we all breathe, and believes in the rule of law, and that industry, regulators, and elected officials should be held accountable for their actions, with good actions being acknowledged and supported. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, William Peduto, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, do hereby declare October 12th, 2019, GASP's 50th Anniversary Day here in our most livable city of Pittsburgh. Thank you for making Pittsburgh more livable.
Thank you, Mayor Peduto. Tonight is about celebration and reflection, but is also an opportunity to kick off the next 50 years. What does the future hold for GASP, and how can you get involved? Going forward, how can we make sure that GASP is just as effective at responding to air quality challenges in our region, and how can we ensure that we're helping those most impacted by air pollution, and often with the least means to improve air quality, to get involved? We plan on embarking on a strategic plan next year to help answer these important questions and to set the organization on a course for success. Air pollution continues to make people sick, to shorten lives, and to spoil people's quality of life. Having a reputation for poor air quality discourages people and companies from wanting to come to our region, and may even discourage college students from wanting to stay here, get a job here, and raise a family here. When it comes to improving air quality, it's a marathon, not a sprint. While we're looking toward the future, we're also making a difference in the here and now. The education, advocacy, and policymaking work that GASP does is making a difference. In the past year, we've analyzed the air quality permit backlog at the local and state level, fought to preserve the county's Clean Air Fund, urged the Allegheny County Health Department to do more to reduce hydrogen sulfide odors, launched a new air quality podcast, and put on a week-long summer camp for middle school students. Remaining strong and relevant for 50 years is no small task, but how will we make the most of the next 50 years? GASP is at a critical juncture. The landscape is a lot different now than it was 50 years ago or even a decade ago. There are new environmental issues, think plastics, that were not being discussed even a decade ago. There are many more environmental organizations sharing the same space. How do we ensure that what we're doing is unique and effective? How do we also ensure that we are doing a better job of engaging with environmental justice communities? We must strive to get all voices to the table, especially those of the most marginalized, to the decision-making table. Whatever path we go down, we'll need the continued support of all of you, our longtime friends, allies, and donors. I want to thank you all for being here this evening, for your past support, and for celebrating with us. Before we go on to the Michelle Madoff Awards, I would like to just take this time to thank the event committee and to give a special shout out to Chelsea Hildy. She really helped tonight happen. But thank you to all the staff that I get to work with each and every day. You are what makes coming to work such an honor and pleasure. So I'd now like to present the Michelle Madoff Awards of Environmental Excellence. Feisty, fiery, outspoken, colorful, larger than life. These were all adjectives used to describe Michelle Madoff. Michelle moved to Pittsburgh from Canada in the early 1960s and was appalled by the poor air quality. So she convened a group of Pittsburghers who shared her sentiment, and that's how GASP was formed. According to the Post-Gazette, even after having served on Pittsburgh City Council, Michelle deemed GASP as her most significant accomplishment. Michelle used every opportunity to make her voice heard with diplomatic persuasion and persistence. Above all else, I believe Michelle had extreme courage. She was unwavering in her belief that the air should be cleaner and that citizens had the right to fight for clean air. When polluters claimed there was no technology to clean up their plants, she'd show them reports from engineers on how it could be done. And when they said they couldn't afford it, she'd say, "Let me see your profit and loss statements." Tonight, we honor 5 outstanding women who are currently working to improve the environment of southwestern Pennsylvania through the Michelle Madoff Award of Environmental Excellence. A panel of judges composed of GASP staff and board members selected the winners of the award from a pool of candidates nominated for consideration in 5 categories: business, community organizing, education, media, and medicine. The women who've been named Michelle Madoff Award of Environmental Excellence awardees truly represent the best of the best when it comes to environmental stewardship. And first, I would like to help us give out this evening's awards, I would like to invite up Michelle Madoff's daughter, Carolyn Madoff. Tonight's first award goes to Laura Nettleton, the award winner in the business category. Laura is the owner of Thoughtful Balance, a Pittsburgh-based architectural firm specializing in resilient and low-energy design. During her career, which spans more than 30 years, Nettleton discerned the ever-developing demand for sustainable, efficient homes before this important niche of the residential market had so evolved. Ranging from the 2014 North American Passive House Conference to the 2016 Passive House Conference in Darmstadt, Germany, her speaking engagements confirm her wide recognition as a leader in architectural innovation who has materially influenced the evolution of this growing market segment. Nettleton, who earned an undergraduate degree in arts, psychology, art history at the Johns Hopkins University, and a master's degree in architecture from the University of Oregon, was called a pioneer by her nominators.
Thank you very much, and a special thanks to Michelle Fanzo, who nominated me, and the AIA co-committee members. I'm really, truly honored. I'd also like to thank the people that have taught me everything that I know, or most of what I know about air quality, Linda Wigington, Craig Stevenson, and Anjanette Green. About 20 years ago, I was working on a project which was one of the first lead projects in Pittsburgh for a group of sisters in Coraopolis. And after the sisters moved in, they were alarmed to realize that their pulmonary health had improved in the building that they were living in. And it was a light bulb moment for me that the decisions that we made and the choices that we make in buildings, the kind of materials that we put in, the kind of air filtration that we put in, the way we clean them, all affect our air quality. And I've been fortunate enough to work in Passive House, which has a wonderful overlap and actually satisfies all of the air quality issues that we have. But I want to thank especially this organization who does really important work. I think it's very easy for us to think, you know, like the canary in the coal mine. We send the canary down. If it didn't kill it, it must be okay. And organizations like this have really helped us get past that mindset. Thank you.
Our next awardee is Eva Resnick Day. She's the award winner in the community organizing category. She currently serves as a community organizer with the Sierra Club's Ready for 100 campaign, which aims to bring the city of Pittsburgh to 100% renewable clean energy through a path that centers on equity and meets the concerns of the area's most vulnerable communities, as well as the workers who are or will be impacted by an energy transition. Resnick Day's involvement in the environmental movement dates back to 2010, when she worked as an organizer for a citywide fracking ban. She worked with Greenpeace prior to her tenure at Sierra Club. She said that she's thrilled to be fighting for a brighter future for Pittsburgh. When she's not out trying to make the world a better place, the Taylor Alderdice alumni can be found singing and mountain climbing. Resnick Day, who earned her undergraduate degree at the University of Pittsburgh, was called a force of nature by her nominators.
Always have to make it a little lower. Thank you all. So first of all, this is such an honor. Thank you all for having me here. And I want to dedicate this award to my mom sitting here tonight Thank you, Abby. Wait, where is she? Oh, hi. For instilling in me caring for others, of hard work and of justice, of taking care of me emotionally and so many others, allowing the space for me to really be able to do this work and to dedicate myself to it. And for always making sure that everybody is well fed at every meeting we have and make sure that everyone's reading the most up-to-date information. And of course, I want to thank my dad, also here, who instilled in me in a young age to question authority. So my experience in the climate movement, which actually started around 2009, for a long time was national, and it was me fighting things. So fighting corporations, fighting to stop new fossil fuel expansion projects, asking candidates to reject fossil fuel money, which was all really important, but we always got the question, well, what's the alternative? And for decades, I felt like the environmental movement had parroted the line, well, we've got green jobs. Workers can just work in wind and solar, without actually spending an ounce of thought and energy on what that really means or working to make it a reality. So I came back to Pittsburgh a good few years back now and joined the Ready for 100 campaign because I wanted to work on climate catastrophe solutions. I wanted to be in my own town figuring out what our clean energy economy could look like. So not just putting up solar panels, but as a potential manufacturing hub for roofers to learn solar skills, for electricians and plumbers to work on energy efficiency projects, which is tens of thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania. So I really wanted to dig in to how we can use this catastrophe as an opportunity to build a better world for our air here in Pittsburgh and for our workers to have abundant and well-paying jobs that help to build a Pittsburgh in the future that we are really proud of. So I just want to say, we all know here, but the climate catastrophe, and especially our air in Pittsburgh, it's a problem that's not in the future. It's happening now. In Pittsburgh, we've seen increased floodings in our basements. And across the country, we've seen wildfire tearing down homes, increased hurricanes devastating entire cities, crop failures, and dangerous heat waves. So we know the climate catastrophe fight is not actually about saving the planet. If you look at geologic time, you know that the planet over time is going to be okay, which doesn't mean that we're not impacting it in a really, really serious way. We are going through the 7th mass extinction, but it's the 7th. And so I think what we need to do with everything that we're all working on as advocates here is making sure that people will be okay. So making sure that we're centering the real lived experiences of people walking through this earth, which means the kid in Pittsburgh suffering from asthma, the town ravaged by elevated cancer rates. It also means the worker who is struggling to feed their family and who just needs good, sustainable work, or the young kid that doesn't really see a future because of the changing climate. And so I just think those things can't be separated, and our solutions and the access to create them absolutely must be accessible to all. And this dinner might not be accessible to everyone. So I just want to challenge everyone here to center people and all people in everything we all do as advocates in this world. And I want to thank you for your service, GASP, for 50 years. The air quality has improved so much in Pittsburgh, and looking forward to the next 50 years and working together. Thank you.
Okay, our next award winner is Patricia Himes. Patricia is the winner in the education category. She currently serves as a naturalist educator at the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy and can typically be found in parks, streams, woodlands, and meadows, helping kids connect with nature. After all, she discovered one of her true loves, nature, playing in Clarion County's forests and streams growing up. Himes earned an undergraduate degree in biology to further her understanding of the nature, and then a master's degree in education to help her share her love and curiosity of the diverse, beautiful, magical world. She was called a game changer by nominators.
Hi there. This is kind of a dream come true, and I'll explain that in a second. I grew up in a small town in rural Pennsylvania, and that is really where my environmental career started. I grew up in strip mining country in Clarion County, and what I saw there were streams that were orange and rivers that were polluted. And so my little 5-year-old self kind of like got that something was weird. And my aunt had bought me a little brown camera with, some of you will know what this is. It was like a flash cube that turned, right? It turned when I took the pictures. And I went out and I took like tons of pictures because I really wanted to blow the lid off of the pollution of strip mining. And I wanted to show everybody what was happening. And of course, I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And my mom came to me one day and she said, honey, I support this, but your dad and I really can't afford to develop any more pictures of orange mud. So I really, at that time, and I did have a lot of support from my parents, but I really kind of felt alone as a kid then. And I really cared for the planet and I loved it. And of course, everybody thought it was goofy or funny or like not serious, and because it was the voice of a child. And so I feel like really lucky because I get to work with young children, 2 older children every day, and we get to listen to them and see what they're feeling and what they're interested in nature. And they're interested in so many things. They can be mesmerized for like 45 minutes to an hour just looking under a log. I had a group of high school girls this morning, and we were looking at terrestrial planaria that they had never seen. They're a flatworm that like injects a roundworm with a chemical substance that turns its insides to mush, and then it drinks it like a worm milkshake. Who doesn't think that is cool? It is so cool. So I just feel very honored. And here's why my dream has come true. I did feel alone back then in Strattonville, Pennsylvania, as a young kid, really caring about the environment. And of course, I work where people's lives and jobs and the community thrived because of strip mining. And so they didn't like what I had to say. But I don't feel alone anymore. This community in Pittsburgh is a unique, thriving, tough, resilient group of people that loves the environment. I really enjoy working with so many groups and so many people that really, truly are dedicated to helping make the world a better place. From people that work with the Sierra Club, to architects, to researchers, to the people at Frick Environmental Center that get up every day. And we are fighting something at Frick. Kids want to stay inside a lot now. And our job is to make them feel comfortable and get them outside. So just in closing, I want to encourage everybody here to take the kids in your lives outside. Your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren, your kids in your neighborhoods. We really, really are facing like a time in our country and our world where kids spend most of their time inside. And so anything that you can do, maybe you're not an environmental professional and that doesn't really matter because you know somebody that you can inspire and get them outside. And so we're all in this together and I am not alone. And I thank you all for being here. And yay, we can do this. And I want to say congratulations to GASP. And you know what, for everybody in Pittsburgh that breathes, and that's most of us, I want to say thank you, really. Thanks a lot.
Okay, our next awardee is Dr. Deborah Gentile. Dr. Gentile is the winner in the medicine category. She currently serves as medical director at Allergy and Asthma Wellness Centers and director of Allergy and Asthma Services at East Suburban Pediatrics. She completed medical school, pediatric residency, and allergy immunology fellowship at the University of Pittsburgh. She previously worked at Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, Allegheny Health Network, and Pediatric Alliance, respectively. Her recent research efforts have focused on evaluating asthma outcomes and triggers in disparate children from the Pittsburgh region. Her work identified a strong association between exposure to elevated levels of outdoor air pollution and increased asthma prevalence and poor disease control in these children. She currently has funding from the Heinz Endowments to support this work. Dr. Gentile has authored more than 60 publications and is the recipient of numerous awards for her research efforts. She is past president of the local and state allergy societies and is a member of numerous professional organizations. Nominators called her work life-changing.
Thank you very much. I actually want to call out a few people who were at my table. I actually sat with several gentlemen who were original founders of GASP. We have Bernie here and Walter. So it's just amazing what you did and to think that this is here now. Yeah, I want to thank GASP for this award as well. I'm a pediatric allergy and asthma physician. I never set out to do this type of work. I just fell into it. I was actually trained to be a bench-to-bedside researcher, meaning I was supposed to be in the lab looking at chemicals and then seeing how they applied to patients. and I just fell into this work about 5 to 10 years ago. It's very sad that there are children out there every day who can't breathe because of the air pollution that we still face. We certainly have improved, but we still have a long way to go. I work with many different environmental groups, including GASP, and I am very thankful for all the work they do. I feel this award should be shared by everyone, really. I feel as though I was just doing my job. And the bottom line is that if we want people to be healthy and have productive lives, they need to have clean air and be able to run and play and live and learn and go to school and go to work and not have problems. So please, all of you, keep up your support, and GASP, please keep up your very good work. And thank you again very much.
Our last award winner is Christina Marusik in the media category. Christina is a reporter for Environmental Health News. She covers issues related to environmental health and justice with a focus on Western Pennsylvania. Prior to her tenure there, Marusik worked as a freelance journalist covering issues such as social environmental justice, activism, politics, and LGBTQ equality. Her bylines appeared in myriad media outlets, including the Washington Post, CNN, Slate, Vice, and MTV News. Marusik, who earned her undergraduate degree in creative writing from Hofstra University and her master's degree in creative nonfiction writing from San Francisco University, was called fearless by her nominators. Nominators mentioned her investigative project, Breathless, which dug into data on childhood asthma and air pollution, revealing a regional epidemic. Unfortunately, Christina was unable to join us this evening as she is accepting another award for her reporting on air pollution and asthma rates from the Society of Environmental Journalists at their ceremony in Fort Collins, Colorado. But we do have this recorded message. So those are the awards that you knew about. We have one final super secret surprise award that I would like to present. This award goes to a woman who has been working to improve air quality in our region for decades, serving in a variety of capacities with the GASP organization since at least the late 1970s. Over the years, she has testified at numerous public hearings, written countless comments to local, state, and federal regulatory agencies, managed our smoke readers program, initiated our first air quality monitoring educational program in schools, conducted a variety of air monitoring in the community, even going out in the middle of night to take air samples. Has helped organizations like Citizens Helping Our Community, or CHOKE, and Allegheny County Clean Air Now, and previously served as the director of the organization. Her reserved, quiet nature can fool you because truthfully, she is a fighter, someone who has never been afraid to ask tough questions and go toe-to-toe with both regulatory and industry alike. She offers an equal amount of warmth and compassion to a community member who calls with a concern about something happening in their neighborhood. If you haven't guessed it yet, I am talking about GASP's very own program manager, Sue Seppi. I have had the absolute honor of working with Sue Seppi for nearly 20 years, and it is my pleasure this evening to present her with a Lifetime Achievement Award. And to make the awarding that much more special, we are joined tonight by Sue's son, Peter. Sue, can you make your way to the stage?
Okay. Is she surprised?
Well, I wasn't expecting this, but it's actually my pleasure to have worked with GASP over all these years. It's always interesting. I've met so many wonderful people. It's just been a gift for me. So I'm just pleased to be a part of GASP and all the wonderful people. It's great to see Walter here, Cyril Wecht, some of the people that have been here so long, and Rachel is amazing. So thank you so much for recognizing me, but I'm really so glad to be here. It's just been a pleasure all the way. Thank you.
So congratulations to all tonight's award winners. And if after we convene here, if they can get up and maybe take some pictures. So I'd like to just invite everyone to have more desserts, have some more to drink. I know that we only gave out 2 drink tickets, but if anyone would like a 3rd glass of beer, we can allow it, because I know they were small. And the raffle is still going on out there, and the archives. So thank you again for coming, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and have a safe drive home. And the raffle drawing will take place at, I don't know what time it is. What time is it? Let's say 8. So 15 more minutes to partake in the raffle, and then we will draw numbers at 8 o'clock. You will need to be here to win.